I let you down. I let you down tremendously. I honestly, I can't. No wonder why I haven't been able to call y'all co-hosts for like a long time. Because honestly, I've forgotten the peakness of crazy women. Like, can we absolutely be real? Like, when I first started this channel and just kind of in the earlier days, I was all about that. That was the life for me. Recently, it's been lollies, and that's perfectly fine too, but it wasn't like the craziness of crazy women. Like, Yanderes were the peak thing for me. And I'm not gonna lie, I've done a disservice. So that is why this Doujin video, or at least this edition, will be Yandere related. I actually found 5 different Doujins, but I'm gonna go ahead and just, straight up just do like 2 or 3, mainly because the other 2 I found were okay, but I think I could save up for later, or just not necessarily as crazy. And even though these are Yandere Doujins, they have the Yandere tag, but they're not really that crazy in Yandere type of beat or timing, so it kind of is what it is. But I'm not gonna lie, it reminded me the freakiness of Yandere characters, and at the very same time, it made me see some of the most peak Doujins I think I've ever seen, despite them being absolutely wholesome. So with that out the way, hopefully you will enjoy this one, and if you do, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We do this at least once a month with Doujin reviews, and if you also like to support me further, Kofi will be in the comment section so you help donate to the channel, because I am dying out here. That being said, let's get into it. So as I said before, these are going to be pretty dang wholesome. They just have the Yandere tag, and honestly, if these Yanderes ever existed or entered my dang life, I think I win. I think I win at the game of life. Like the first one, the classmate girl from my college days returns my kindness in a bridal dress. This one, off rip, just off the cover image, I don't know if I can show it or not, but off the cover image, just immediately a good design. And you go and see the good design of what's happening when you have a jump into the damn story, and you get to see this main character receiving all these nice ass pics of this one chick. You don't know who it is at the time, but obviously it's the main girl. And I'm like, yeah, this is a peak ass body right here. I don't see how you would say no to this, right? But to start out the whole story, he's getting all these kind of weird ass, crazy ass pictures or whatever. He's like, I don't know where they coming from, who the hell this is, only for him to stumble upon a box. And inside the box, you end up seeing this one chick in a bridal outfit. Who would have guessed? And essentially, it does start off kind of creepy, because she's just like, oh, I need to touch this guy. He doesn't know what the hell's going on, so he bolts out of there, as you should, as a immediate action. If you see something crazy, you don't stand there like a white character in a horror movie. You just go ahead and dip out there, because you don't got the time for that. You ain't trying to stand around and see what happens, right? But in this case, it was honestly a really good thing, but still kind of creepy, because she ends up finding out where the hell this guy lives and just pulls up there. And as she reveals herself, Miyu tries to go ahead and just be like, oh, it's me. And he's just like, wait a minute, that's you? Bitch, you looking a little different from what you looked like back then. How the hell you turned out like this now? And so essentially, she just wants to be with this guy, and that's kind of the whole damn story. As you kind of can predict and guess, it is a Yandere story after all. She wants to be near this man in every shape and form, and the reason, and even the pics obviously, were her, and she just shows off her body to be like, yeah, that same booba there, that's my booba. That's immediately something that you should care about. And they start going in and just start clapping, right? And it's only till later that we get to understand why she wants this man in the first place. It's very simple. She was getting bullied in college, no one really asked for her. This one guy came through and said, hey yo, chill out with that. She looked alright though. And essentially try to, help her out in that tight situation. And she, from that point forward, really just enjoyed this guy. And so they just go ahead and go back at it again. Start going ahead and committing themselves to each other and just start clapping cheeks one more good time. And they just go on for the whole manga. And again, with a character design like this and have a body like that, would you say no? Would you say no to any of this? I don't see a reason why you would. And at the very end of the damn manga or doujin, you end up getting to see, yeah, they gotta go to work and all that type of stuff. He's just like, I don't want to go to work. I want to clap your cheeks more. And then she pulls out the most goated thing I think a Yandere has ever done. He wants to clap her cheeks, right? And she's just like, let's just keep going, right? Despite work, just quit work. Just don't work anymore. And essentially, he's just like, but I gotta, make that back though. And so she pulls out her account, and look at the money that's in that bitch. Are you dead ass? Like, dead ass. This is the yandere I want. A woman that's basically stacked for cash and lets me clap because she likes it like that? Yes, yes to all this. Give me every part of this. This is the woman that you need in your life, Kohas, for sure, for sure. Let this be it. Let this be the absolute relationship that we all can get. Please, because by far, this is the most peak yandere of all time. Let me clap and still I can get money just because, for whatever reason, I ain't gonna work again because for whatever reason, you just got money like that. Oh, hell yeah, let's absolutely go. So, off of that last little interaction, and just overall with this one, this is a really good doujin. Honestly, if you haven't seen this one or read this one, please do, because this is really damn good. I give this shit like a solid 9 out of 10. Like, I'm not even joking. But I know you complaining still, even though a yandere literally would give you your paycheck, give her her whole, bank account, and, just let you clap whenever. I know you still complaining, but I want a yandere that's a bit more darker. I want a yandere that's gonna be on some type of timing against me in a way. Alright, fine. Well, I got the next one ready for you. And this one, honestly, you like the other girl's design? This one is a peak ass design out of everything. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Izome. This, off the cover alone, is immediately like, oh, I think we're in for a good time here. And boy howdy, it is good. The author in the beginning of this whole doujin literally is like, oh, this is a bit different from my usual stuff, and, I want to do something with ugly characters, and hopefully this does it justice and all that type of stuff. And I'm like, you call this ugly? Off rip? I'm like, nah, there's no way. Even the comments of this was calling cap, being like, you call this ugly? Oh, alright then. I feel like that's a bit of a lie. But with all that being said, Jay, what makes this girl so great? Oh, you're about to find out. So essentially this story starts off with the main character, Ryota, I believe their name is, and he's just kind of like sitting in the classroom chilling while everybody's yapping about who they like and all that type of stuff. And even his friends was like, oh yeah, my boy, who do you like? And he's not really ready to answer, and he ends up getting a message on his phone. He's just like, hey, yo, calm down, my boy. I gotta dip out real quick because, some business has to be taken care of. And he goes out in this one room where this chick is just waiting for him named Aizawa. And so when it comes down to it, she's just like, oh, you here for the type of timing I asked for? Alright then, let's get started. And they just go ahead and just let her do whatever. She's just dominating this man. Not in a, obviously like, oh yeah, I'm gonna step on your balls type domination. No, nothing like that. But just basically getting what she wants. And the reason for all this? Blackmail. That's literally it. Literally, this man was like, man, I'm lonely as shit. I need to get me some ass at some point in time. Only for him to be like, you know what? The closest thing to ass is sniffing some girls' panties and underwear and garments and all that type of stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. Not knowing that he was sniffing Aizawa's shit. And then Aizawa took a picture of that shit and was like, oh, do you want people to find out about this? Because I'll be more than happy to go ahead and show everybody that you're trying to F an ugly girl, quote unquote, ugly girl. And essentially, yeah, they had started this secret relationship and just gone ahead and gone to town with each other. Again, this is great. How do you mean you failed? How is this a bad situation to be in? This is literally peak as hell, and I don't understand how you would fail at this situation. Sure, she's a little bit chubby, but that shouldn't stop you from wanting to clap her cheeks. She still look mad good though, I'm not gonna lie. And I won't even cap the scenes in this one. I argue is some of the best scenes I've seen in a while, with a good character design that I haven't seen in a long ass time either, outside of the previous story that we talked about. Like, this girl is freaky. She even admits in the last panel, I would say, she's a damn pervert and all that type of stuff. And hell, the guy, he's like, you know what, F it, we're just gonna go ahead and dive in some cheeks, and absolutely starts obliterating him, as you should. There ain't no damn way you say no to any of this either. And ultimately, at the end of the story, they keep their whole relationship a secret, still clapping cheeks while keeping everybody out the loop and out the knowledge of just them being together and just doing this wild and stuff. And that's essentially the whole story. Again, how do you fail with these two yanderes ever? I don't see how you fail. This is a peak ass time to be alive. One girl got money and the other one is quote unquote ugly, yet she looks bad as hell, and you talking about, oh, this is a situation of a yandere I wouldn't want to be in. Shut your ass up. Let me throw a brick at you, because you're obviously capping hard as hell. Out of the three I provided today, I want to say this is my favorite one. And then the second one would easily be the one we talked about previously. While we go into the third one, for me, this is just a classic because I read this a long time ago, and I can't believe I never really brought this one up, I don't think. But we can't really talk about yandere women without throwing Toga into the mix. I'm sorry, that's just how it is. And this one, I like this one because Toga's not her usual self. She's a bit more normal in this one. Right? She's not really out here trying to eat your blood or, you know, go ahead stab the hell out of people or anything like that. No stabbing from her in this one. She just gets clapped up and acts a bit normal. Also in this one, Toga's a little philosophical for whatever reason. But anyway, she basically out here eating her ice cream, having a nice time by herself, only for these three assholes to come through and be like, hey, spread them cheeks and line your hands up on that wall real quick so we can all get a turn. And yeah, sure buddy, Ken and Toga would not let this shit slide that hard. Let's just be absolutely honest. But anyway, some random ass kid come through with his electricity quirk, trying to be like, hey, leave her alone, because you're not gonna clap anyone's cheeks today before I clap yours with this lightning power. And so the other three assholes was like, yeah, we gotta go, because this guy being an asshole and whatever, you know, have his quirk and all that shit. And so they dip off and he basically saves Toga. And so Toga and this one kid basically just starts yapping, and they just like, oh, I really want to be a hero, but I don't really, I'm not really in that position to be called a actual hero. And Toga's kind of just gassing him up, honestly, in a proper, nice way. And it's just like, oh, so she really isn't like the counterpart that she is in the anime and whatever. And so essentially, she's just like, you know what, you say to me, I see what you're trying to do, so why don't we just go ahead and do something strange a bit. So she starts going ahead and go with it, just even putting on a whole blindfold on herself just to be like, oh, do you feel guilty for doing this stuff with me because this is unhero like? All right, I'll just put this blindfold on, so now I can't see what you're doing and I can't necessarily say it's you, so don't feel bad about what this is. And they just go in and start clapping. Granted, would you not clap Toga? I would do it 10 ways from Sundays again. She could just have all the kids in the world. That is how it is, because Toga is that bad. But ultimately, he ends up finishing off inside Toga, as you should. And the last part is a bit tragic, because once he got done with all that stuff, the other three assholes came back and he didn't really pay attention to the surroundings, got caught off guard. And one of those guys ended up stabbing the kid. And that was some nonsense. You got the best smashing of your life from arguably the best yandere waifu ever. And then essentially you get stabbed for it because they didn't get the chance to clap. Ain't that some nonsense? But when it comes down to it, Toga starts yapping in this kid's ear, at least in a kind of like, I guess, flashback or something like that. And essentially she's just like, what really is good and evil? What justifies you using that power or not, and all that type of stuff? Why don't you just take action and do what you want to do? Because you only get one chance at life and all this type of stuff, basically. And so the kid bodies the other three assholes, kills them, because, yeah, they did him dirty. And so as he's kind of clinging on to life for the last bit of his own time, he ends up getting to get with Toga again, but only just enough to see Toga carry him in her arms before he passes away. Toga's not really mad about this or anything, or sad about this whatsoever, but she just kind of understands that, you know what, you should just act the way you want to. Honestly, this kind of is comparison to Toga's real counterpart in the anime, kind of just having a world where she wants to do and live however she wants to. And that's kind of like the message of the whole ass story, right? Just live the way you kind of want to and do what you want and kind of be the same way as you always wanted to be. And that's kind of the whole damn point. So he kind of did that, cost him his life, but he kind of did that. And again, this doujin kind of reflects Toga a lot, honestly. So this is actually a lot peaker than I thought. So when it comes down to it, though, it's just really good overall. I would give this one a 10 because it's one of my favorite classical pieces of Toga, and it's just a really damn good one. Sad at the end, you ain't gonna catch me lacking for clapping Toga. I'm clapping her cheeks way more than one time, but still, it is what it is. But overall, while this is obviously in the list of findings of these doujins, I would say is the third story that is, third place. But at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It's all good. These were all bangers. In my personal opinion, they're like 9 to all the way 10 out of 10s because they're just that damn good. From the girl that's gotten money and just being a yandere for you to get on some meat, but also just using her money for whatever reason, to the other girl that blackmails you and just try to go ahead and use you for whatever reason, even though she about bad as hell. So again, are you losing here? And a Toga that's actually normal and not necessarily beyond weird type of timing with blood and all that type of stuff. Again, I fail to see, how did you lose? This is the peak time of Yandere season. This is how you would go about this. If I'm trapped in a room with all three, this is the best possible outcome you could have. I see this as an epic win. So that's just how it is. But overall though, these are some of the best Yandere doujins I found, and there's probably way more that's out there that's really damn good, but I don't think anything's topping these three, as far as I could say at this video so far. So with all that being said, hopefully you did enjoy this one. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on routes, also on socials, and if let's do the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's Boy J, sign off. Have a blessed day.